to your VectorWorks guide. Today we're going to be talking about light plots. Alright, so as you can see here, we've got a grid for our black box, so that'll be provided for you. And I've gone ahead and just added in a quote-unquote set into the grid. So you can see this square or rectangle is my seating unit, and then we've got these squiggly lines as some masking. This is kind of mimicking one of our basic setups like we were doing Fall Shorts or 24-Hour Play Festival. And you can see my design layer, that's what I'm on right now, is the grid layer, and I have the set in a separate layer. That way it doesn't really change a lot when I gray it out, but you can see it's a little bit different. So that way I can see my set, but it is not in the way. And we need our set so that way we know where we're putting our lights and how we're going to set up our light plot. We'll talk a bit more in class about the theory behind some simple light plots and stuff like that. So this is really just the mechanics of how to use VectorWorks to make a light plot. So as you can see over here, I also have some things. These are the beginnings of my lighting instrument. So we're gonna finish getting that set up because I find it helpful to just have the lighting instruments I want over to the side, and that way I can just duplicate them and put them on the grid or the plot as I need them. So if we come over here, I'm in my tool sets. Maybe I'll make this a little bigger. Just kidding, it won't be bigger. But I'm going to come over here into my lighting, my little light picture, under my tool sets. And first I'm going to come here to a lighting device. So that's going to pop up. Right now we have the symbols, right, for a 26-degree source 4 and a 36-degree source 4. I'm going to pop another one on here, right, so it comes up as just whatever the last lighting instrument you used was. So if I want to change that, I'm just going to double click into that. And then hopefully a dialog box will pop up. Oh, I need to get back into my selection tool. So now I can just use this double arrow to click into that, and it already pops up into my source 4 part of my catalog. Everything here is, you can see all these different folders, kind of like how we had all those different textures. And this is under ETC source 4, and we're just picking source 4, and now I'm going to get my last one, which is a 50 degree. So I'll highlight that, select, okay. All right, so two other lights that I'm going to want to grab are going to be our Fresnel and our LED. So I'm going to go ahead, hit lighting device again, and I'm just going to pop two of these on here, and then do the same thing, double click, and I'm going to change. So LEDs, we're looking for ETC LED. We have park hands, and I'm just going to pick this pretty basic one. Honestly, more of a representation here than anything. And last one, I'm going to go ahead and get our Altman Fresnel. So I'm going to go all the way up to A for Altman, go into, let's see, Fresnel, and I'm just going to do a 6-inch Fresnel. Alright, so now I've got all of my different lighting instruments that I want to use in my plot. So again, like I said, we're going to be talking more about lighting design mechanics in class a bit, so I'm just going to show you here some more VectorWorks things. So what I have here is a 6-foot radius circle, and this is what we call a focus area. So this is an area that I'm like, oh, I want to individually light this area. And so what we'll do as we continue to make a light plot is we'll, oh gosh, what did I do? Not sure what I did there. Just trying to duplicate it. There we go. We'll fill our light plot with overlapping circles everywhere we want. Uh-oh, I didn't want to move that. Everywhere we want our light to be. So I won't bore you with that now, but that's what we'll do. So we're going to fill up our playing space with these circles. Sometimes you might want to have a little bit of a smaller circle to fill in certain areas, and that's kind of the fun, creative part of making a light plot, is deciding where it is important to have these individual focus areas. So on the VectorWorks side of this thing, in order to get the most out of our VectorWorks capabilities, what we're going to do is we're going to assign a focus point to each one of our circles. So again, over here in our tool sets, we have focus point. So I'm just going to grab that, and I'm going to click right on the center of my circle. It's going to come up and ask me, what do I want to name it? Pretty common to just name them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, A, B, C, D, E, F, whatever you want. But something that's easy to reference, especially when you're doing hang and focus. So normally you're going to want to go in some kind of pattern as well that's easy to understand. So, starting here, if I made this A, B, and then going C, D, E. So, but anyway, so I'll just start here. Mine never lets me just name it one thing, so I always have to name it 1A. So now, if we zoom in here, we've got this focus point. And what that allows us to do, so let's say I want this 36-degree source 4 to shine on focus point 1A. What I can do is over here in our object info palette, now since I have highlighted my lighting instrument, there's so many things that I can assign to it. But what we're going to do is scroll all the way down here to focus, and I'm going to type in the name of the focus point that I want. So I want it to shine onto 1A, and now if I scroll up a little bit, I never know why they're not closer to each other, but I can do draw beam. And so now this is going to tell me at this angle and height, this is how much light this instrument is going to shine on my focus point. So, and again, what we're looking for here is to really have that light encapsulate just the circle. Maybe a little bit over, right, because I kind of had that dead spot back there. So a little bit over is fine, but this is kind of big. So I can also, with this, play around with, where I want my placement to be with my light. Also recognizing, right, that with the source 4, we can do some shuttering. Anyways, I'm getting too in the weeds of the theory of lighting design. So anyways, so we have our focus point, and if we assign a focus point to our lighting instrument, we can turn on the beam and then figure out exactly what the throw of our light is going to be. Pretty cool. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and turn that off for now. Now, something else that we always see on our light plots are those little label legends around a light. So normally what we see is what the focus point is, what the gel color is, and the dimmer and the channel numbers. So I'm going to show you how we make those. So we're going to come up here to our little bar up here. We're going to go to Spotlight, Label Legend, and we're going to go to Label Legend Manager. So I already have a few in here. We can just ignore those, and what we're going to do is go to Add. And so we're going to add exactly what I said those 4 things were. So there's this column, Use in 2D. So what we're going to do is we're going to find those, and we're just going to check it off in the 2D column. So color, dimmer, channel. I'm not sure why this is a thing, but there's no container for the color. We're going to do a circle container for the dimmer and a hexagon for the channel. Not sure why, that's just the standard. And then we're going to scroll all the way down. I think I missed it. Focus. Check that off. And then we're going to use single label in 3D only. And I need to name it. That's very important. So we'll say fave. You should probably name it something better than that, but that's the first thing I thought of. All right, so now I'm going to come over here to Fave, and I'm going to say Edit 2D Layout. So now I have all these things that I've selected, and I can order them around the light how I like them. So again, there's a very specific order for this. Not sure how or why this came about, but this is the way that we're going to do it. So we'll color, our gel color, our focus point on top of that, and then drag all of these over here. And our dimmer and channel. I'm actually going to space that down a little bit. So we have a little room. All right, so that's how you do that. So we'll go to exit symbol, and now fave is all lined up. So if I go, I still have my source 4 highlighted. So if I go back to spotlight, label legend, assign legend, now I can go in and choose fave, and there we go. So we already have it populated to 1A, so I know, right, that's my focus point. And if I highlight back onto it, I can type in those other the other information over here in my object info palette. So it's gonna have the same name. So right, color, I'm gonna do R60, pretty standard color. And then dimmer, right, that's gonna be decided when we actually plug it in to our grid. I don't personally care about that as the lighting designer at this time. Maybe you will, but it really doesn't matter for us. And then channel, that's the number that we want it to be in the computer. Again, I'll talk about the process for naming that in class more, so I'll just name it 1 for now. But you can see these all populated, so R60, channel 1, bada bing, bada boom. The last thing that I'll talk about is, so we're going to talk about a standard McCandless plot. And basically what that is, the theory behind that is doing lights at 45-degree angles. So a little trick that I like to do to help me to place my lights is to draw little triangles from my circles. So I'm going to go make this 135 and make it pretty long so that I have a lot of room to play with. And then this should be -90. And then I just group those together, and then I can move this to the center point of all my different circles. And that's going to help me figure out where along the grid I'm going to want to put this. So yeah, this is a good technique to get rough placement, and then again use that the draw beam to really get it accurate. And then again, that's why we also have the different sizes of our 26, 36, and 50, because that also changes the size of the throw and your throw distance. So anyways, again, getting into the weeds of lighting design theory. Just quickly going over my notes to see if there's anything else that I wanted to go over. I believe that was it for today. Thank you for attending. I look forward to hearing your reviews.